Welcome to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I am your hardcore host, Rick Head, and I'm sorry we're a little bit late, but we had a little technical issues. And I'm joined by the hardcore crew. First, he's the Lord Sculptor himself, Joseph Knight. Joe, what's shaking?
Not much. Good to be back here. I just tested out the stream, and yes, we have sound.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we are here. I'm ready to go, Rick. Let's do this.
And then we have the very sexy Zoe Nightshade. Zoe, how we doing, honey? You gonna be flashing those titties tonight?
No, not tonight. I think I'll give them a break.
Oh, damn. Come on, shake them. You won't break them. And then, of course, with the incomparable Lance Moss over at Lance Moss TV. Lance, what's shaking?
Not much. It seems like we've done this before.
Well, you know what? It's Wednesday night, so who knows? Let's get into it. This past Monday, oh, no, hold on. Wrong topic. Jesus Christ, I'm all over the fucking place. I might as well smoke. We learned that judo legend Gene LaBelle passed away at 89. LaBelle was also known for teaching legends, fighters such as Chuck Norris, Ronda Rousey, and Hall of Famer Roddy Piper. LaBelle also worked in the NWA in his early years, and he's done a lot more. Joe, tell us more about Gene LaBelle.
You know, Gene LaBelle this was a man's man professional wrestler. This is a guy who legitimized professional wrestling in a sense. He spent most of his time in the NWA, the original, not the little bullshit one that the guy from the Pumpkins group has. He was part of NWA Hollywood in California from 68 to 1982. This is the guy who was part in 1965, everyone, who was part of the first ever MMA battle. So he actually did a mixed martial arts match live. So before Dana White did his UFC, Gene LaBelle did a match before that. He spent most of his time in Japan, mostly in California for the NWA. As you said, Rick, he trained many, many people, including Hall of Famer Roddy Piper. So this was a guy who was no nonsense. He was a ninjutsu expert. He went to Japan. He wrestled there, picked up more martial arts training there. He was not a man you want to screw around with.
All right. Lance, what do you know about Gene LaBelle?
Well, I'm not sure if he perfected the rear naked choke or created, but I know adding the double leg grapevines to it was originally known as the LaBellian double, and basically, to put it in wrestling perspective, he was basically the Stu Hart of Southern California.
He would make Taz cry if it was slapped on him.
Wow. All right. Zoe, your thoughts on the passing of judo legend Gene LaBelle?
I really don't know of him, but I give my condolences to him and his family, or to his family and friends.
Absolutely. June LaBelle, I'm sure we can send our feelings out to the LaBelle family and friends. And unfortunately, like I said, from what I've been reading, he was a legend. He did a lot. I wish I had known him better, or at least was more familiar with his career. Moving on. Dexter Lumis made his return to the WWE in a very weird way at the very end of Raw. AJ Styles had just defeated The Miz, and then in the corner we saw some kind of security trying to arrest somebody. And I didn't really know what was happening, but even AJ Styles is kind of paying attention over there. And then you heard Michael Cole say, "What the hell?" And then it went off. And then the next night I saw the full video shoot where it was, in fact, Dexter Lumis. So I don't know if they cut it off before they revealed it or what, due to time constraints. But it's obviously that Dexter Lumis is back in some shape or form. Unless, of course, he's getting the Enzo treatment. Who knows? Joe, your thoughts on Dexter Lumis coming back along with several other wrestlers that have been doing it?
You know what? I saw that segment. And yes, he is coming back. What a great way to present this. Like he's technically not part of the company, but he's trying to get in and they have to pull him away. What a great way to introduce someone. And that was very good to bring him back because he didn't get the proper treatment under Vince. Maybe Triple H at home is doing it's going to do a service by bringing in back some people that should have been never released and focus on these new folks. I'm tired of seeing Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and others, and the Usos, the DUI experts, all being part of the show and never anything new. So with Dexter Lumis, good to see him back. I wish they would bring a certain Fiend back. I can't wait to see that. And before we go any further, let me just say hi, Terry. Terry 3G's in.
Welcome, Terry.
Over in the YouTube chat room. So he is there. You guys could check it out on YouTube. Just go to HWR.
HWR show.
Hardcore Wrestling Rants.
No, it's YouTube.HWR show. Please subscribe like a champ. There you go, Joe.
Thank you. Tongue tie.
All right. Lance, your thoughts on Dexter Lumis's return?
Well, honestly, when AJ looked over and Michael Cole said, "What the hell?" I thought it was just somebody trying to jump the barricade and security got him. Until, boss, like you said, I saw the actual video of it, and honestly, great way for somebody to come make their re-debut. Now, my thoughts on Triple H's bringing back a bunch of people that got released. That's kind of a tradition when a new guy gets the book, he brings in to a company his people. And to me, that's all Triple H is doing, bringing in his people.
You know what? A very fair point, excellent point, because Dexter Lumis and others were mostly down in NXT. That was his baby before it turned. Vince took it away and changed it to the fuck start that it is. But Zoe, over to you. Final thoughts on Dexter Lumis's return.
I think it's great that he's returning. I did not actually get to see the spot. I like the random way that they're bringing him back in, though, doing it through the crowd, making it look like somebody was just trying to, jump the barricade. It's different than them having to come out on the stage and stand there and have a stare down or rushing the ring from the ramp. I like the randomness.
Absolutely. And, speaking of returns, we knew that Io Sky and Dakota Kai had made a return with Bayley, who's been out for some time. But another person returned who I didn't think was coming back, and that's Karrion Kross and his very sexy wife, Scarlett. He made his return this past Friday on SmackDown, where he did a face-off with Drew McIntyre, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, long story short, the rumors were circling saying that somehow they wanted to bring Karrion Kross into a triple threat with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre for the number one contendership. That is not true. It's the Clash of the Castle. It's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal United title, whatever the fuck they're doing with it. And I'm guessing they claimed that Kross is going to be the number 2 heel in the company. So I would not be surprised, Joe, if Kross does wind up getting a title reign in the very near future.
Absolutely. And the full story is he did come in and attack Drew McIntyre. He did a face down with Roman Reigns. So that was going to be the thing that they were thinking of throwing him in, but they didn't. Smart move. Let's not add to this. The man just came back. Let's build him. That's the proper way to do business. Let's build him. So I am hoping that they go with this. And, again, it goes back to we need more young talent. We need to see these guys that wasn't given a fair shake and they were given horrible gimmicks and they were mistreated. Now they can come back and do what they were supposed to be doing. It's long overdue. I would love to see them bring more tag teams back in, because Lord knows that we need tag teams, so we don't see the Usos versus, you know, whatever the fucking smoke drunk guys, whatever the fuck they are, party posse, whatever, Street Profits. There you go, Street Profits go up against the DUI brothers. You know, we need to see more talent, and I think that's going to be a big win for WWE if they can get these guys over properly.
All right, Zoe. We also were talking earlier about other returns, and we had talked off the show about who we'd like to see return. And I think we all agreed that Bray Wyatt / The Fiend was probably our next anticipation or hopes that he would return.
I have been hoping for a Bray Wyatt return since he got released. Even whenever he got released, I was like, okay, maybe they will overturn this and actually bring him back. You know, Karrion Kross, he's one of the names that a lot of people in the WWE universe have been begging to be brought back. So it looks like WWE is trying to right their wrongs. It's just taking them a little bit of time to do it. So hopefully they stay on track and make it right.
All right, Joe, again, what's your thoughts specifically on Bray Wyatt, and how do you think they're going to bring him back? Are they going to use the same gimmick, or are they going to allow him to use his creative ability?
No, best thing will be maybe a ramped up, darker version of Bray Wyatt. You know, if they wanted to salvage Bray Wyatt and they want to salvage whatever Rhea Ripley's group is, Revolution, Republic, whatever the fuck it was, shows you how much I pay attention
Judgment
to
Day.
WWE. Yeah, Judgment Day. It was one of those things. You know, if they wanted to rev them up as a pure darker group, Bray Wyatt as the Fiend leading them will make a better reason for them turning against Edge. A higher person came to them and lured them. And you can do a lot with the darkness, skulls, and all that. Because look at Rhea Ripley. Very attractive lady, but when you put the goth stuff on her, will look great. The other guy, Damian Priest, looks it. They need to do stuff with Finn Balor to make him look badass. Maybe a fiend, not a fiend mask. I'm sorry, the demon mask or something that he's not ordinary. You know, a little bit of face paint. You don't have to go for the full body, but that will be the best thing to do for the Fiend and bring him in to run that. If he doesn't sign with WWE, I would say he'll be the one to go to AEW and smack the Dark Order and lead them in a pure dark way and get rid of finally that little kid. Rick, I want to do one more thing before we go. I want to just do a big prop to my Nightmare Express tag team of Todd Mott and his brother Billy. Sad note, Billy's other partner in Helter Skelter, that was the team Paul Jones, not the wrestler Paul Jones, the manager from the 80s, but another guy named Paul Jones. He passed away yesterday. It's so sad. We're losing people back and forth. So, you know, my condolences to Paul's family. May he rest in peace. I hope Billy's okay, Todd. Tell him we said hi. So, you know, he says everything's clear. He's a big fan of HWR.
Well, again, I'm sorry to hear about that, and I do condolences to your losses, and I wish you and your family hopefully get past this, and we wish you the best. Lance, again, we're talking about The Fiend. Your thoughts, and I myself, with all due respect to Joe, I think him coming back as a leader in a group would not fit that character. I'd like to see him as a sole character.
Leader of a group, not at first. He needs to reestablish himself beyond the old man's booking.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how I would like to see that. A couple of people again wanted to see. I was going on another page. And other people wanted to see Enzo and Big Cass. Now, despite Enzo, how he left, he kind of had a questionable issues in behind, but those charges or whatever it was were dropped. But then Cass was fired right after too, and Cass had nothing to do with it. So I don't know, but now Cass is over on the Impact. Let me ask you, Lance, do you think Cass would do better on WWE, or do you think he should stay in Impact?
He should stay there. because his mic skills haven't improved that much, and from what I said, you're going to need to be able to think on your feet, from what I hear, because Triple H, they're giving the talent more and more freedom in their promos now, and Big Cass just doesn't have that yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. If you can't sell a promo, then you're pretty much dead in the water. Joe, your thoughts about Big Cass?
You know what? I agree with Lance. Big Cass needs to stay away from WWE, build up his character, learn to talk better, come up with a gimmick, a look, or something. And then once he's ready, then he can come back. If you guys remember, that's how Drew McIntyre, he was gone. He did a few things and then came back fresher, looked it good. Now, that should be done for Big Cass. Enzo, you're never going to see him. I'm sorry. He's done too many stuff. And this is not even about the issue that he had, the supposed rape issue. The way I look at it is, he burned himself when he did a little publicity stunt when he was in a front row seat at a WWE show where a fan got hurt. I don't think they're going to bring that guy in. Plus, him and Triple H did not get along.
Oh,
so that's going to be a big no in this new regime.
Yeah, I didn't know he had issues with Triple H, so yeah, that right there says not happening. Zoe, final thoughts on Big Cass possibly returning?
I can only see him return if Enzo came with him, and we know it's not going to happen, but I would mark out so hard if it did happen. And Cass is doing good over in it's on the tip of my tongue, it won't come off.
Impact.
Impact. He's doing good on Impact. Stay there, do what you're good at where you're good at.
Absolutely.
Remember, if you can't remember Impact, just think tits and ass. I mean TNA.
Funny thing is, I actually saw that segment on TNA. I don't know if you caught it, Joe, where it was Mickie James and I think it's Chelsea Green, where they wound up kissing each other in the middle of the ring, and I'm like, well, hey, Impact's going back to TNA.
There you go.
Well, they put it like this: they're in the tier of professional wrestling. This is what it is. WWE, no matter what, even if you got people who've been there for years, people are still going to buy into that. So you have that. You're never going to see that change. Number two is AEW by a close margin. Third, if you want to say Ring of Honor, because they're getting a redone. And
yeah, but Tony Khan owns them, so I say AEW / Ring of Honor.
Okay, so then we go for Impact next. So they have to do something to get themselves overboard. I'm sure Mickie James says, let's do this because you guys need an audience. And she has no problem doing it, so I'm guessing she has some secret desire. I guess after being kissed by Trish Stratus, I think she just says, this tastes good. You know what, Rick? Here's another thing, too. We've been talking about wrestling talent being in WWE and coming back. We all know that John Laurinaitis left. He was first suspended indefinitely.
We are going to get to that in a minute. That's what we're going to.
And then we got a Bucky Tooth Beaver that we have to go into.
Yeah, no kidding. One last thing again before we go to our next topic. We're talking about wrestlers who are coming back. Let's talk about a wrestler who we would like to maybe see coming to WWE if they would allow it. What about MJF? MJF has been gone for a while. We all thought there was a storyline, and if they're really pushing this for a storyline, they're really pushing it hard. I don't know if he's out with an injury and they're using that as a storyline or what. But obviously, something is going on. So let's say, for the record, MJF leaves the company tomorrow. As a free man, do you think WWE would hire him, especially with that kind of the way he left AEW, Joe?
No, they would not be able to use him. His first conflict would be with The Miz, and they would go back and forth. He would get something, but let's face it, even without Vince, you know, Triple H might let him come in with that gimmick, but honestly, I think with given his size and everything, and probably I don't know if he has any issues with Cody at this point, because that's another big factor here. I don't think MJF fits a WWE package, to be honest. I'm hoping to hold on to the fact that maybe he'll come back in a big way and win the world title somehow. I think that will be a better deal for him than venturing into the land of Paul Levesque. I honestly, it's MJF is very talented, but they wouldn't know what to do with him.
Well, again, I think it mostly Zoe goes back to how he left AEW, if he did leave AEW. That was a really unprofessional way to say you want out. Calling your boss a fucking mark more than once, and not just saying it, screaming it. That just shows that he was very unprofessional.
If it was not scripted, it was extremely unprofessional. That I would never call my promoter a freaking mark.
Yeah, exactly. Lance, final thoughts on MJF or possibly heading to WWE, and that's hypothetically.
Probably not. Well, it's a bad look if that's how he left the company. But we're still looking at 2 years before contractually he could come to the company. Because, he's sitting at home, but he can't go anywhere else
until 2024.
Until that contract ends up.
That's true. All right, we've done enough of this. Let's move on to the next topic at hand. WWE has officially brought back the Women's Tag Team Championship, and they are having a tournament. Right now, on the left bracket, they have Tamina and Dana Brooke. They have Io Sky and Dakota Kai, Alexa Bliss and Asuka, and then finally they have Nikki Ash and Doudrop. On the right bracket, they have Raquel Rodriguez, Aliyah. They have Zia Lee, that sounds like a Mortal Kombat character, and Shotzi. Then they have Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. And lastly, it's Natalya versus Sonya Deville. So, Lance, that's a really robust, different type of tag teams that they're bringing in. And the question is it just for this whole tournament, or do you think these are going to be solid tag teams?
Well, some and some they just threw together, like Doudrop and Nikki ASH. That's a tag team. But honestly, who I see winning this whole thing is Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
Again, yes, they had also returned together, so they were hanging with Bayley, almost I guess you could call a trio faction. Yeah. I know that Dana Brooke and Tamina have pretty much been almost inseparable on and off, and then but all the others, they're a lot of these names don't really ring a bell. And then you have the Italian Sonya Deville, who are again longtime friends. Zoe, your thoughts on this bracket?
Some of these tag teams just don't even make sense to me, to tell you the truth. The Nikki Ash and Doudrop, Alexa and Asuka, they've been working together, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, I guess is her name, that works. And we all know what to come down to. It's going to come down to Alexa Bliss and Asuka versus Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
Well, actually, that will be a part of that's on the left bracket. So you got to consider the whole right bracket. So, and you have 4 other tag teams you have to deal with. Joe, your thoughts on all these tag teams coming together for this Women's Tag Team Championship?
Oh, geez. You don't need freaking Miss Cleo to predict this. Call me now, my darling. Because it's going to be Io Sky and Dakota Kai because they got the edge. They're already part of a faction with Bayley. They will get to the finals of bracket 1, and I'm guessing they'll probably get there with and face Alexa and Asuka for that bracket.
They're on the left bracket.
Right, and I could see on the other side Zia Lee and Shotzi making it to the finals with Natalia and Deville, and they go over. So how I'm going to see this is Shotzi and Zia are going to get to the finals. They're going to meet Io Sky and Dakota Kai, and it's going to be Bailey who's going to help out and get her people the first this win. So, like I said, you look at everybody else, it looks ridiculous. Tamina and Brooks, that doesn't make sense. You've got the Spanish chicks. You got the Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, isn't that Rey Mysterio's daughter?
No.
No,
okay.
It's not.
So then you got Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. Zoe, they stole your name.
I know those buttholes.
That girl Zoe Stark looks like she needs a freaking. Somebody gave her a little box of candy and she opened it up. It was a bomb and it blew up in her face.
Yeah, not really one of her better pictures.
No, and then you got Natalia, out of all people, teaming up with Hook Nose Sonya Deville. I think there's more to that. I think Sonya Deville says, "I'll team with her just so I can fund her." Don't we all? So honestly, I think it's gonna be Io Sky and Dakota Kai winning it. There's everybody else just doesn't make sense. Over at the YouTube page and the chat room, Terry says that looks like a cluster of people. They just put names in a hat and pulled them out. Yeah, you know what? I think in this case they says, okay, let's put a brawl together, a big brawl. Hey, Natalia, give me your bra. And they put all the names in left, right. Okay, that's how we got it. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, with the exception of a couple, it does feel very, very random. But I just started watching WWE again. Lance did point out that Bliss and Asuka have been working together, and Natalia and Sonya Deville have worked together on and off throughout the years, so it's no stranger that they would work together. As far as the others, it's like, yeah. Dewdrop and Nikki Ash, you can tell that was just a throw together, and a couple of others. So, but again, I never really cared for the women's tag team division because there wasn't not enough women tag teams. And unfortunately, for the most part, when it comes to WWE and a lot of other male divisions, it's primarily a male wrestling show, unless if you go to Shimmer or Women's of Wrestling or other ones that primarily have women wrestlers. That's where it makes sense. Unfortunately, call me a scumbag or whatever word or sexist. This does not make sense.
Well, here's the thing, Rick. The problem is that they do have the talent. It's just they don't know how to use them properly. And this is a perfect example of that.
Well, what I'm talking about...
You can get rid of the whole ASH shit on Nikki, dollar up to be like Dewdrop, and there you got your sexy pound for pound, no pun intended, team. Shotzi and Z will be a great team if they really focus. Same thing in the male part. They don't have enough tag teams.
Yeah.
So you look at this list of people, you could do so much possibilities. You got the Mortal Kombat martial arts kind of feel of Shotzi and Z. You've got the Dewdrop and Nikki who can come out as the weird ass sexy girls, who decide to put on leather. They're like the cast outs. Like, I don't want to date them shits, and you use them. And then you got, like I said, Io Sky and Dakota, who are just in a faction. That's how they get a buy. I would have put Asuka to team up with possibly either Zia Lee or Shotzi. That would have made that team more believable. I would have took Tamina and put it with Sonya Deville, because Sonya's not going to touch that. And you could see it use it as my bodyguard type thing. Tamina will be Deville's bodyguard.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because it's been Tamina and Dana Brooke, where Tamina's been pretty much the muscle of that tag team, and they've been together, I don't know, for a couple of weeks. Lance, correct me if I'm wrong.
Something like that. Which the weird thing, before that, they were beating the shit out of each other over the 24/7 title like the week before.
Can't agree forever.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what? Like I said, Lance. I don't know if I've gotten your whole thoughts on this division, having a tag team.
Mostly the only tag teams I saw is the one in the top and bottom of the right side bracket. Other than that, they just put names in the hat and pulled them out.
All right. Moving on. John Laurinaitis has been fired from the WWE. Laurinaitis was the head of talent relations before the shit hit the fan during the Vince McMahon sex scandal. He had stepped down, but as of I think yesterday or over the weekend, he has been fired. He is no longer with the company. So that was interesting. Excuse me. And now we're over to we're talking about the whole sex scandal. There's an update on Vince McMahon. Yesterday, there was discovered that Vince McMahon had shelled out an additional $5 million split between 2007 and 2009. So now he's up to about, I'll say, $20 million. 19.6 if you really want to get specific. But I'm going to say, guys, $20 million for pussy.
God almighty.
Yeah, you know what? Joe, help me with this. $20 million. I never needed $20 million to get laid.
Yeah, but apparently you're not Vince McMahon. After a while, he has to, he has to do that. So it's incredible. $20 million. Can you imagine the talent he could have paid for? Could you imagine back in 2000 when he bought Raw, he bought WCW and ECW? With that money that he spent, he could have paid $1 million to Hall, Nash, Goldberg, and all these people. Really bring in the real.
I think he only paid. I think, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, it was something like $10 million, half, just to buy WCW.
No, he spent $4 million.
Oh, he paid $4. Okay, I forgot. It's been a while, but Jesus, yeah. So, and he hasn't done nothing with the company. He could pretty much just use the libraries and bury the product. So it's just, again, boggles my mind. Yeah, he has the money, he can do it, but shit, you could have bought another fucking plane. You could have done shitloads of other things.
Hey, you think in common sense. Vince needed to do this.
Well,
so
you know what? With that money, he could have built himself a private little dungeon. Ordered mail order brides across from Russia, Japan, wherever he wanted. Whatever flavor he wanted for the month. Used him into his own sex party and whatever, and he probably can bring in a few of his favorites. Even John could have joined in with no problems. When they got done with her, say, okay, sorry, we got to bring you back. We wanted a refund.
Oh, no. See, you make things overcomplicated. Lance, please get that email ready, because this is going to be fun.
Hang on.
Here we go.
Joe, hang on 1 second. Well, they are getting rid of Titan Towers, so he might have actually done that, boss. But, since Joe's about to rant, it's joe@scourgesrealm.com.
There you go. You know what? That money he spent, he could have ferried a bunch of illegals under the border, screwed them, banged them, and then when he was finished, put them out to go, cut grass for him out front of his mansion. And then when he's done with them, when they were done with their job, instead of paying them pesos, he could have called immigration and they would have pulled them away, calling them, hey, they're illegals, Vince McMahon knows how to save money. So that would have been something. Here is Terry. We got Terry just said they need to do this because it looks like AEW is going to launch a more women's focused event system in place. What Shawn Michaels didn't get in, why didn't Shawn Michaels didn't get in that match? He probably didn't get into that because Pat Patterson was probably trying to get into him.
Yeah. No, he tried, but I don't think he got there.
Follow that up, guys.
Yeah. Is that fucker still alive, or did he pass away finally?
He's still alive. He just can't see straight. That's why he keeps banging into walls.
Well, I would hope Vince would at least share some of these chicks around, I mean, at least they get their money's worth or something. I don't know. I mean, I am seriously baffled by $20 million fucking dollars for sex.
And honestly, I think because they haven't gotten up till this year, so this could go to $30 million.
Yeah, no kidding. The numbers just keep on coming out. I remember, and this is a true story, guys. Remember back in the night, well, like the $900 phone lines where you could call up for like have a woman talk to sex with you for like a minute for like $30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I had one of my brothers
Wait a
did
minute.
that,
Wait a
and
minute. Hold up. Say that again, Zoe.
Yeah.
There you go. There she is, the 900 girl.
Giggity.
but anyways, long story short, he racked up like $500 or $600 on the phone bill. We had to have the phone shut off, so I had to turn the phone on in my name until we paid the fucking thing off. And I thought that was silly. Now I'm looking at him like, oh, maybe that's not so bad. Maybe Vince should have done that, Crying out loud.
$20 million, and you got the scandals and all that for that. Let's not forget he threw away money on the XFL, not once but twice. He's done things half-ass and just dropped it. This, Vince is this is a man who really took professional wrestling from the way it was in the little smoke-filled gyms of the WWF, made it up the most biggest name in the company in the 80s, that you had celebrities all want to be part of this. You had this and that. Then you got to the 90s. It started dropping. What did he do? Came up with the Attitude Era. So, with all those successes, he was, when all of these things started coming out, and again, I want to put this out there. This is it, for folks think that this is new. Oh man, he's doing this. This has been happening in professional wrestling, not only in professional wrestling, but in other sports. You got the NFL, you've got baseball, you got other things too. It's in boxing with Mike Tyson. You're not professional wrestling gets the black tag on it because it's the most popular one, but it's not the only place that this has happened to. So, it unfortunately, Rick, this comes back, and this has been happening since the 80s, and before that, Moolah used to pimp out her girls in the 80s, and hell,
Very good point.
The 60s all the way down to the 80s. So,
and that's why they canceled the Moolah, classic match, so they did it to the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and you know what? I want to throw this out to Zoe, because she's a woman in the business, still in the business. So, what do you think of this? Have you seen this? I know in my era, and my era is the 90s for wrestling. It's when I was active in wrestling. I've seen it, but it wasn't as bad as today. Well, I won't know, but what do you think?
I haven't really seen it unless people have just gotten really good at being hush-hush as far as that goes. Honestly, as long as we have celebrities, money, men, and women, I mean, it's going to happen.
Well, you know what? And that's a very fair point. We put all that aside. I'm just thinking about the amounts of money that he paid for it. I mean, he could have, for crying out loud, got to the bunny hop out in Nevada and had a VIP, section where if he wanted to get a piece of ass, he could take his jet. He has his own, flown out there, got a piece of ass for about $1,000, and moved back and would have been fine. And it would have been perfectly legal. With the exception of his wife, but then again, I'm guessing.
Him and Linda not together anyway.
No, well, they're still married, but they're living seclusively, so.
She's probably banging the pool boy.
Probably. Well, she knows she's not getting an office anyway, so. All right, guys. Since we've been talking about this, let's move on to more brighter topics.
Wow, that got quiet. See, it's never fun.
There's nothing else to talk about.
Well, you got Kevin Dunn, the man who literally saved WWF from burning. And I said WWF because when the studio was burning, the man ran in, ignored his third-degree burns, grabbed every wrestling cassette from that era, and threw it in the trunk of his car and saved WWF history for Vince McMahon. That's why he's still employed there, but he's on borrowed time because the guy is literally, they're looking for someone to replace him. It's a new era. They want somebody new. He's done his job extremely well. So that's why it's hard to find someone to replace him. But I guarantee you, once somebody pops in and comes around, the Bucky Beaver's gonna be gone.
All right. Now let's move on to another subject. There were speculations that former TNT champion Miro was not happy with the AEW, and he was even considering leaving when his contract up. Miro did confirm the rumors with an interview with Renee Paquette. He also stated that he's not so sure. So it looks like he might have had a change of heart, or maybe him and Tony Khan, for whatever reason, have sat down and got things straight. Joe, Miro, honestly, I have to say he's doing a lot better in AEW than he was in WWE under Rusev. So for him to go back to WWE if he could, I think that'd be taking a step back in his case.
Absolutely. The man is, he complained about being in WWE and them ignoring him. Now, him being in AEW, he hasn't done bad in his time there. He's won the TNT championship. He's got some moves. He's got some airtime. I think the problem that you're looking at is that there is so much airtime. You can't give everybody airtime. That's the problem. You got so much time on Dynamite, so much time on Impact, and you don't want to throw everyone on a show. Unfortunately, creative for what it is pushing the Black Eye Club or the Black Eye Peas Club, whatever, the Blackpool Bastards Club.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Blackpool is one word, and that's what a lot of people get confused about.
Yeah, those motherfuckers. With Steven Regal, the guy who teamed with Bobby Eaton to be the Blue Bloods. They're putting too much time and emphasis on him, on them. They're putting too much emphasis on the Jericho Society, Action Society, Group League, whatever fuck.
Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me stop you there when it comes to the JAS. Jericho is always pushing forward to the other guys. And I'm going to be honest with you. Andrew Gonzalez, or whatever his name is now, I honestly didn't think much of him at first, but you know what? His matches have been kind of impressive.
You know what? His matches are
Andrew
impressive.
Garcia. I'm sorry, that's the name.
Andrew Garcia, whatever. Fucking Andrew Dice Clay. I don't care. The problem, I think, with them is some of these guys, while Andrew Garcia is a good worker, or whatever, Daniel Garcia, whatever the fuck his name is, he is too small, too skinny. He looks like a guy. His wrestling is improving, and I commend him for that. He's doing a lot of good work. But all honestly, Rick, you look at the guy. He looks like, you want fries with that? He
looks like he should be a ring boy than a wrestler.
Yeah, Pat Patterson will love this kid. So it's kind of that scenario. Put on some weight, guy. Put some weight on. Put on 50 pounds, muscle up, and go out there and do your stuff. You can still do it if you have 50 pounds more. That's why I kind of shrink back at some of the independents that I look at. I walked into an independent show recently, and everybody was smaller than me. They look like they can all use. They look like that commercial with Sally Struthers. We have poor children that are suffering in Africa. Well, fuck them, give them a sandwich. Stop eating it all, Miss Struthers. You got guys who look like they should be eating. They're showing their ribs. Kids, we all know everybody wants to become a professional wrestler. But for God's sakes, look the part. I know we'll never hit the era of Paul Orndorff, Rick Rude, the Road Warriors and all that, but at least look the part. You're a professional wrestler, for fucking Christ's sake.
All right.
That's what I got. That's all my rant, really.
I had to cut you off because I know, I'm like, well, I only got a couple of hours.
Keep going.
And if he said anything offensive, Joe@scoldensdrum.com.
All right.
Not offensive, at least not to me. I don't think so.
Oh, fair enough, Phil. This is HWR. So, Lance, while we're on the topic, what's your thoughts of Miro possibly considering leaving AEW?
Honestly, I kind of think it's just a contract negotiation ploy.
That's a fair point. I don't think anybody really thought of that. Zoe, final thoughts?
As far as him leaving AEW, it would have been a bad move. Obviously, he must have voiced his concerns about where he was going in AEW, and Tony Khan has tried to meet him halfway.
Let me say, stop squeezing your boobs.
I keep on hearing. I'm like, what the fuck is that in the background?
Leave her alone.
All right. So we're gonna move on to one of the another topic is Ric Flair. He revealed that he had passed out twice in his last match. Flair went on and pretty much said that he didn't realize that everybody knew that he had passed out. He had worked hard. He was training. He was being very strict. But he started to become dehydrated during the match, and that's when he started to almost pass out a couple of times. And then he also talked about how he faked the heart attack spot, which I guess Booker T thought that was done in bad taste, which I have to agree. We all talked about Flair coming into this match with a pacemaker, and it was just a very bad idea to begin with. But I guess Flair needed the money, or he needed that one last spot. But thankfully, he came out, and for the better part, I guess he's somewhat okay, because he went on to manage his brother, Andre Idaho, or Andre the Idiot, as Joe calls him, as a manager the following week. So, Lance, what's your thoughts about Ric Flair almost passing out during a match twice?
Well, first, the whole heart attack spot, bad taste. As heartfelt as the wrestling world got when he was in the hospital, damn near dying, bad taste. And on top of that, well, a 70-something-year-old man with a pacemaker getting in the ring, bad idea whether it's Ric Flair or not. I kind of think, since the promoter was his son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, who is a known belt collector and memorabilia collector, I personally think it's a quick way for him to get a hold of a lot of Ric Flair merch.
And you know what?
You forgot to add to that list. The dude is a fucking mark. He's a mark. He's a mark. He's a mark. Mark.
Well, Joe, since you chimed in, your thoughts on that whole situation?
Well, first of all, look at the man. Rick, I gotta ask you that question. You got that picture up, right, of the Nature Boy and the man who couldn't draw a dime, slap nuts himself, Jeff Jarrett. Who the fuck is in the bottom of the picture? It looks like Caitlyn Jenner and Bernie Sanders.
I believe that he tagged with Andrade, and that Jarrett teamed with Jay Lethal.
Yeah, no, that I knew, but on the picture, there's
that's a woman. That's Jeff Jarrett and his wife, Woman.
That's not Woman. Woman is
Woman. No, Woman. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, that was a brain fart. Go ahead, Lance.
Karen Jarrett?
Yes, Karen Jarrett, yes.
It's Karen Jarrett, who looks like Caitlyn Jenner. And
it's a bad picture, yes, a very bad.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming that's probably David Crockett next to her, but he looks like Bernie Sanders. And the other guy looks like, I don't know if that's Jay Lethal or Tony Atlas.
No, that's Jay Lethal.
Okay. God damn people. But, see, now I can't do Caitlyn Jenner jokes. Anyway, just a look under her skirt. You might find Captain Winky.
You know what, Joe? I'll leave that to you since you like looking up skirts. Okay? Yeah. We know that you have that special mic on your shoe, so
Hey, and it helps greatly. So, Zoe doesn't stand still long enough for me to check. But come on now, that's crazy. A 77-year-old man. I know it's Ric Flair. Woo! But his days have long gone, 20, 30, 40 years ago. This man obviously needs money. His son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, is a schemer who just says he grabs everybody to try to make them put them in a podcast. Look it up. He has Arn Anderson on the podcast. He got Eric Bischoff on the podcast. He has fucking everybody that he can grab to make money off of them on his podcasts, and he's always hosting it. That kind of tells you. He puts together this other idiot, this Mexican freaking reject, Andrade El Idioto, and the only reason he's allowed to wrestle in the United States because the man married a man. I mean, he married Charlotte Flair.
You had it right, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Captain Winky again is peeking out from under there. But this is a scary thing on itself where in all joking aside, 77-year-old man with a pacemaker. What would have happened if he would have fell or slammed and that pacemaker would have came out? What is he going to... Okay, stop the match. I'm going to start plugging it back in. My God. It's just crazy. Obviously, Ric Flair needs money. He's a legend in the business. They could have done autograph signing and all that. Maybe make him get on some sort of live question and Q&A session. But to wrestle, I don't want to see him wrestle, and let alone I don't want to see him wrestle Jeff Jarrett, another guy who should have been gone from the business years ago. He's not like his dad, the great Jerry Jarrett. God.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think at least I can speak for myself. I've never been a fan of Jeff Jarrett, regardless. I know he does what he has to do to make money, and you know what? Fine, it's a business, and I can respect that aspect. But Zoe, finally, your thoughts on Ric Flair's last match and some of the spots that he did.
Ric Flair's last match should have took place a long, long time ago. This should not have been his last match. And I get that his son-in-law booked it and everything.
That is correct.
There is a time whenever you have to put someone else's health before your needs or your wants. Rick came out with the pacemaker. Automatically, his health is screwed. And that was just dumb to book the match in general. That was in poor taste, if you ask me.
All right. So, let's see. What are we doing now?
We're sitting here. We're waiting for Zoe to squeeze something so we can hear the squeak noise again.
I'm too busy filling out paperwork.
Yes, folks, she's filling out paperwork because she's finally letting go Dean Ambrose or John Moxley out of the contract.
No.
Oh, okay, so she's not doing that. So it's to keep him in the legally locked up. That's why we love Zoe.
Yeah.
By the way, while Rick gets everything in order, I want to say if you are interested in booking a professional wrestling talent, you're in the southern states, Zoe, tell them how to get you.
I do love you, Joe. You can find me on Facebook at Zoe Nightshade. That's ZOE Nightshade. If you cannot leave me a message there, find me on my personal Facebook at Kayla Hobbs.
There you go. Now, let's go back to Rick Meister.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. And right now, there's rumors. There was a rumor that Tony Khan was going to go to have a two-night event similar to WWE's two-night events. However, that is not true right now. Khan went to Busted Open Radio, where he squashed the rumor. Khan was shocked by the rumors that Cody Rhodes was the one who made the comments, and he made it clear that he has no desire to have a two-day pay-per-view event. And you know what, Joe? I'm going to tell you, I'm glad that he doesn't. I don't want to see two-night events. We've seen it.
No.
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Just only because two-night events is just draining. It's exhausting.
And expensive.
Well, I'm even talking just as a fan, just, as somebody who watches TV from home.
Well, here's the thing. I hate these two-night events because let's say if you are a fan and you're going to WrestleMania, because that's a perfect example. They do two-nighters, okay? First of all, if you buy a ticket for one event, that's day one. Now you got to buy a ticket for the second night, or you could buy the package, which is fucking horrendous, okay? What if I'm buying a ticket for night one and I get to see, I don't know, Coked Head Becky wrestle Bianca Belair. And then night 2, I'm getting to see Cody versus Seth Rollins. You got to make a decision. So you either watch the day 1, be live there, and then go in your hotel room and watch the rest on your social media, on your streaming, like, what is it? The
Peacock
network. Yeah. So you got to do one of those. Does it make sense? I'm glad that Tony Khan is smart enough, at least in this instance, not to take that handle. They need to step it back, and do one night, limited pay-per-views, build them up like they used to, and give a full show. I was disappointed with Battle of the Belts because it's so short. That could have been a 2-hour show with more titles on the line. That's why it's called Battle of the Belts. I don't care about 3 different titles. You know, the 3 titles were irrelevant. So I want to see, you know, more of those. I want to see bigger pay-per-views, but one-nighters. It just is for cost-effective. Tony Khan doesn't have a streaming network like the WWE. So imagine that, Rick. 2 nights where you're paying $50 or whatever it is for a show, for a pay-per-view.
And that's a good point. I didn't even think about it in that aspect, but like I said before, to me, I don't want to see it. So, I mean, I'm sure that Tony Khan at some point has a plan on doing some kind of streaming services on his own, whether it would be with like a TBS or I know Bleacher Report, but he could do a lot of other things. But for right now, we're not sure. Zoe, your thoughts?
I mean, I would watch an AEW 2-night event before I would watch a WWE 2-night event. But then again, I don't think I would really want to if it became more habitual like WWE does. I mean, WWE, it's like constant pay-per-views being rammed down your throat. I don't like that. I like being left with wanting more.
Absolutely. And that's why, again, I think AEW, despite the financial or visuals, I think they're a higher company. So, Lance, over to you.
2 nights, it's just too much.
Well, short and sweet. So, we're going to come to the...
Hey, I'm the only one who can go on long rants around here.
Fair enough. All right, so that's going to come to the end of this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. and Mrs. A over at BC Games and More. You can catch them over at Facebook in the group section where they play a lot of old retro games. They do trivia and much, much more. Again, check them out. That's every Monday night at 9:30. Am I correct, Joe? I guess I'll just...
Yes. No. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
They do show Saturday or Sunday at 9:30 on Facebook. So, yes, that's exactly it. So, definitely check them out. I want to throw a quick shout out to Terry, 3Gs, and the Lower East Side Survivor, Skipper. He's on there. And Terry, for being part of the show. How you doing, Skipper? I want to thank my Nightmare Express, Terrible Todd, Toxic Todd, and Billy the Kid. They were both on there. So thanks, guys. Do appreciate it. You guys are so awesome. Thanks for
absolutely
tuning in.
Thank you. So, and that's what HWR is about. We want you all to come in and, like ask questions or even give your own input on topics we may not be talking about. So, Zoe, we know right now that you are scourging the world, the wrestling world, for a shot for booking. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm available for bookings. I have a clear schedule. I mainly manage. I can play both a heel and a face. You can find me on Facebook at Zoe Nightshade. If you can't get me there, get me over at my personal Facebook page, Kayla Hobbs. I'm willing to travel to a certain extent, especially the way gas is right now. But yeah, hit me up. I'm out. I'm looking.
All right, Lance, and you over at Lance Moss TV. What's it all about?
Well, every Tuesday night, me, Zoe, Steve, and whoever else shows up go live for about what, Zoe? 2 hours and a half, 2 hours, something like that?
Yep.
and just get insane.
With you, Lance, I'm sure that's not too hard to do. And last and certainly not least, he's the Lord Skeleton, Joseph Knight. Joe, we know you're over there. What's going on there?
Hey, everybody. Yes, check me out. Do the hashtag Scoldrons Realm. I am on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I took a little bit of a break from streaming. I just have like so many things to do. But I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming again. So I'll be back on. Hopefully I can do some tonight. And then the rest of this week I'm off. Rick, I am working on a big project. So wrestling, I might be returning to wrestling full-time next year. We've got everything planned out now. We're going to do a test. And I just been handed a special note. Are you guys ready for this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
According to Dave Meltzer, WWE's investigation has found WWE doing an investigation. Go figure. Found another $5 million in payments made that they weren't aware of and related to Vince McMahon. Payments to two people in 2007 and 2009.
Yes, we covered that.
Rick.
That's what we were talking about earlier. That's
Yeah, but this is from their board of directors now. So this is picking up here. Business is picking up for Vince.
Yeah. But again, like I said, that's what we first talked about, that extra $5 million, because it was 2007 and 2009.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, but again, yeah, it's
he's doing great there.
yeah. It's just,
Have they hit the Pat Patterson payoffs yet?
I don't know.
No, they're keeping that locked up in the gay box. I mean, not the gray box. The gray box.
The gray box. Okay.
All you fucking sensitive pieces of shit who are woke, who just want to change the world on us with your pronouns.
That's Joe at ScoldronsRealm.com.
It's a he and a she.
All right. That wraps up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. Please check us out on the HWR chat room where we post the latest news, rumors. I did a latest wallpaper of Britt Baker. And tonight I will be covering AEW Dynamite. There should be a Quake by the Lake tonight, so it looks like it's going to be an interesting card. So, for the Hardcore crew, I am your Hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
For the shirt! It's Joe at ScoldronsRealm.com.
Yeah, when did John Cena start looking like Ernest Goes to Camp?
About 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah.